Welcome back to Breaking Bullying. I do feel that there are schools out there who do their best to help combat bullying, and they do a very good job at it. But I also know there are schools out there who drop the ball when it comes to dealing with bullying issues. Today is going to be one of those stories where the school has failed to help a student out. So I'm going to hit that music and get started.
Let's now talk to a parent who had her own experiences with the bullying of her child. Joining us now is Colleen Bidwell. Colleen, how are you doing tonight?
Hi, I'm doing well tonight. Thank you.
I've had the pleasure to work with Colleen's children for the past 2.5, 3 years. Hey, Colleen, is that about right?
Coming up at the end of this year will be 4 years that my two kids have had the pleasure of coming with at Cato Karate, and we've loved it.
Great. So, Colleen, tell us about yourself and your family.
Well, as you said, I'm Colleen Bidwell. We are from small town right outside of Mankato, Minnesota. We have my husband and I have three kids total. One is already out of the house, and two of them I have a junior high and an elementary age student. Both of them students at Cato Karate, and students here in the Mankato district.
And I've known you for a few years now, and you've brought up to me a few times that your kids are being bullied. What can I do for
Mhm.
resources? And that's kind of one of the reasons why I told Bruce about why we're doing this podcast is because we're trying to reach as many people as possible and try to cover these topics that I can't necessarily cover in class. Can you tell us what's going on with your kids in school and their experience with bullying?
Yes. So our youngest is about to turn 11 soon. She's definitely had a really, really hard time with other classmates and other areas of life that she's just been severely bullied in.
When did it
A little
start?
background for her is um, right away, young at life, before she was in grade school. Um, it's been her whole life, I would say. Yeah, like I say, background on her. She is adopted. My husband and I got to adopt her going on almost 4 years ago. But she is a family member, so it's called the kinship adoption. So obviously I've got to know her almost her whole life. Um, and she comes along with that comes a lot some mental disabilities plus severe trauma, which then goes to the classroom, and that creates just a lot of areas that she has been vulnerable to being bullied in just many areas. I mean, sometimes it's even adults who just don't understand kids with special needs or kids that just need a little. We always say just a little extra love in their day, a little extra patience. But most definitely in the classroom, things that she struggles hard with her ADHD. So that just creates oh, how would you say it? She creates the extra noise that she creates from herself almost. Um,
Is
so I
she
mean, there's sometimes that.
going to
Go
ask,
ahead.
is she on the spectrum? Does she have something like Tourette's? What specifically are her differences?
So her her primary diagnosis is FASD, which is fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. And under that is an umbrella of many, many things. Again, and added with that is trauma um, from the life of her past and things like that. So with FASD, it can look, there's no direct roadmap of all that. It is everyone affects it affects everyone differently. Um, and it in your body shows it differently to each person, and in the way that you're also raised through that from birth on, obviously. Um, so looking at her, she looks totally normal. You would never expect that, even one, she's adopted because she is also again family, or two, that she even has any form of a disability at all. She just looks like a normal, right now 10-year-old girl. Loves her hair done and her bows and her in her skirts and dresses and all that stuff, but and loves mud puddles on the other side of that too. And like I said, you wouldn't know she had any issues. So then when other students see her and she is being triggered in some form, and then that trigger comes out in a verbal aggression. Sometimes it's been a physical aggression, but not so much on that, I guess. But then she receives things differently when a student might say something like, "Oh, I like your dress today." She immediately goes to a defense mode. Um, and students don't understand that, she's in fourth grade right now. Fourth graders don't understand, "Oh, I thought I was giving you a compliment, um, but you received it in a negative way." Or even small things, um, as a somebody is tapping their pencil in the classroom, those outside noises um, really trigger her, and it's really hard for her to focus in the classroom. So if she might be trying to internalize and trying to calm herself in the moment, but then all of a sudden she can't hold it in anymore, type of a thing, and just explodes. And again, that creates opportunities in moments that students are like, "Oh, well, she can't handle herself. She's just mean because she's acting this way." And then it just adds after that.
What kind of bullying is she experiencing? Is she getting pushed? Is she getting name called? What does she experience?
Uh, for sure, lots of verbal aggression from other students. There was actually just an incident about a week ago that there's a girl in her class, particularly that she really struggles with, that um, seems to target her often. And they were leaving the lunch line, and this girl, she described it to me, and I could just like it seemed like it was a silly like movie scene to me. But this girl ended up dumping her milk carton down the front of her new dress that she had gotten. She got this new dress for something, and she was excited, and she was talking to her friends at school about it. "Oh, look at my cute new dress." And then this girl after lunch dumped milk all over her and said, "Oh, I guess your dress isn't cute anymore, is it?" And that just
Oh,
obviously wrecked
w-
her day. Yeah.
Was that the
What did
So
first
it's
the
things
incident?
like
teachers
that, things like
Was that the first incident with this
the
particular girl?
teachers. Oh, no. No.
So this is an established bully of
No.
your daughter.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, this girl um creates lots of isolation in the classroom, on the playground. If any other student, boy or girl, is trying to play with my daughter, this other bully will make them stop playing with her, or will also bully that student until they basically stop. And I mean, that's about a 4-year long
Yeah, with that
bully incident that we've been dealing.
with the milk pouring incident, how did the school respond to that?
Well, not good. There was really no response. I contacted her teacher about it, and then also the social worker at the school. Um, and it came that back to just be, "Oh, it was an accident. The student didn't mean to do that." And so I said, "Well, did you talk to either one of the girls?" "Well, no, we really didn't talk to them, but we're gonna make her say sorry to her."
Is this
Into which I never got a follow up that it actually happened, but
is that a standard response when something happens to your daughter?
often, yep. Be- uh, I feel sometimes that because of her special needs, and she can be a difficult child in the classroom, um, that she is just shoved aside all the time. If she has a bad day in the classroom and I try to respond to the teacher about it, the teacher just turns it around and saying, "Well, she needs to figure it out and she needs to do this immediately in the classroom," where she doesn't have that brain capacity to even do those things. She takes, our normal children can, almost automatically say, "Okay, I'm not going to do whatever it is I'm doing that's upsetting the teacher or the classroom." for her, it could take a week or 2 weeks to kind of regulate herself and teach her that those things are, that's the teacher's asking me this thing, so I need to learn to do that stuff.
Is the
Does the
school?
So
school
anytime that I've really ever,
Go ahead, Tim.
does the school know that she's being targeted for bullying, or do they even think she's being bullied at
yes,
all? They do know.
yes, I have talked with, again, the social worker at the school, multiple times a week. We're on yeah, almost, I would say 2, 3 times a week, we have a phone call. She is wonderful. She's a great resource that I'm able to, um, just help communicate with the teacher, to the principal, and things like that. I have contacted the principal, um, who again, is a really wonderful man. He does a great job, but, the I would say, like, that individual care is kind of lacking at times, and so maybe I'm appearing as an annoying parent who is constantly calling, constantly complaining. Um, but when my child is constantly coming home with milk covered all over her body, or, torn clothes, or whatever, coming home crying because mom, this girl did it again to me, or mom, I don't want to go to school today. Please let me stay home today, or can I please switch schools right now because I can't stand going to school to see this person or the group of people that sometimes it becomes.
Do you?
Has your daughter, hold on, sorry, Bruce. Has your daughter brought her concerns to her teacher? And
Yeah.
if so, what did the
Yep.
teachers say to her?
Um, and each year that it's happened, each teacher is different in their responses. Um, her in the past, she's had some seasoned teachers, and they are very sweet and kind and are able to work through it in the classroom. This is the first year that I've ever had to take it to the principal, because it's gotten so bad. The current teacher, um, is a little less seasoned, and a little more stern in her classroom. In which, if that's how she wants to run her classroom, I'm fine with it. But don't ignore the problems that are happening.
What could the school do better to help address these issues?
Hmm. Uh, Accountability is, I feel, huge. Um, not just not just from the bullying, but from the recipient of it as well. Yes, my daughter needs to learn how to react appropriately to this bully. We don't want her to retaliate in a negative way, of course. Um, but accountability for this bully, and then communicating in between parents, I think, is huge. This one particular student that we have the issue with, I've never spoke to her parents, but there's some days that I want to just get on the phone and say, your daughter's so mean, and your daughter's this, and obviously I know that that's not the most appropriate, constructive way to do so. Um, but definitely have an accountability of, if this is happening in the classroom or the school or whatever age is happening, that, you know, this is your consequence for your action, and we're going to hold it to you. And, starting young, that apologies are hard, no matter if you're in kindergarten or you're an adult. It's hard to apologize. So if you just work on that sincere apology, I feel that it definitely can make an impact.
Do you feel that having the school have arrange a meeting between you and the parent of this particular child who for 4 years has been torturing your child, would would that not be a useful thing? Are they unwilling to do that?
Um, I brought it up one time to have a that parent to parent meeting. Um, and I was just kind of shut down immediately. Nope, we don't want to create any troubles. We don't want any hurt feelings, so we want to just take care of it internally.
What trouble would
I would
come?
like to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah, what trouble are they
I don't
expecting?
know.
and
I
also
don't.
and also
Yeah,
hurt
I
feelings.
don't understand that.
Like, is there not already hurt feelings? Is your daughter not coming home crying almost daily? So what hurt feelings are we sparing here?
Right. Yeah. I was not given a clear answer. It was just basically a no, let it go kind of a response.
A week before this podcast, I put a poll out there to various Facebook groups, including our own Kid or Cry parents group and then other anti-bullying groups. And the question was, do you feel the schools are doing enough to prevent bullying? One person said yes, but out of like 40 responses, they all said no, except for, well, there's two that said they added something to it, but majority of people said no.
And I
Out
was
of
one of
40.
those.
Yeah. But this one guy made a comment, and this falls, and I love this comment. The schools need to believe the ones who come seeking help. Nothing makes a child lose trust and respect for those in positions of authority who say, if I didn't see it, it doesn't happen. I kind of feel that's what's happening
Wow.
here with your daughter. Oh, she didn't mean to spill the
Mhm.
milk. Well, did you see it? I mean, your daughter's going to tell her a different story. The other girl doesn't want to get in trouble. She's going to say, oh, that was by accident. I mean,
Yeah. Wow, whoever wrote that, I mean, amen to that. Yeah,
Look, I'm an adult
that's
example of
huge.
that. The schools so drop the ball on me that I do have a natural distrust of authority that goes to this day because I generally assume, much like the school district that dealt with me, that incompetence and a general lack of actually caring is the norm. So that is how I view all of authority at this point.
that's a good point, Bruce, because look at the kids right
Mhm.
now getting out of high school. A lot of older folks, like these kids have no respect for authority. But then you kind of look back, well, how are they treated in school when they turn to authority and they're getting ignored? Because I don't remember seeing a
Mhm.
bunch of riots back when I was in high school, people getting upset. I mean, it seems like people today have lost trust of authority, and we have elementary schools already kind of showing this to young kids. Oh, I didn't see it, or
Mm.
it was just by accident. They pretty much shut down that person's, like your daughters, they kind of just shut her down. It's not a big deal. I mean, if I had new clothes, someone spilled stuff on me and I know they did it on purpose, I want that person, I want more than an apology. You know, I want
Yeah.
I mean,
something
just,
else. I don't know what that is going
Yeah.
to be.
just beyond, forget the clothes and all of that. What you want is a teacher to take, if this is a reoccurring theme, for the teacher to not pay it attention, that means the teacher, whether they're saying it out loud or not, simply either doesn't believe the child or doesn't care whether it's happening or not. And my
Yeah.
experience led me to believe they didn't care whether it was happening or not because that was just an annoyance to them and it wasn't happening to them. So you have these teachers and this principal, oh, I didn't want to hurt the other kid's feelings. Okay, well, in the balance of that, this kid is hurting my feelings, my child's feelings, and that's okay because that's the damage done. But if we try to address it, that's going to hurt their feelings or their parents' feelings. And it's just very wrong minded. And to be honest with you, as much as you said that this sounds like this principal's this wonderful person, he sounds incompetent to me. And I will call that out because if we're talking 4 years, something should be done because you don't happenstancely commit the same act over and over for 4 years. That's a willful act of ignoring. And how do you handle that emotion?
Yeah.
How do you deal with this on a day to day basis? Because
Ugh.
this poor girl, and this is your daughter.
Right. Um, in our household, therapy, which is wonderful. We do a lot of journaling together, um, to, have a healthy way to release all those feelings that we're having from school. And just at school or at home, I'm just reminding her that, she's not, those positive things that I tell her at home. She's not the things that these girls in school are telling her, or, she has support and she has love at home, regardless of what she's not feeling in school. And I would say my husband's a saint because, and my daughter comes home and she has these feelings, and as mom in the moment, I'm trying to keep my cool and trying to remind her that, no, it's not fair. This is the right thing to do, and so on. then he'll come home later in the day, and typically I end up releasing all of my emotions to my husband in a usually a crying puddle of a mess at that time. Um, uh, yeah, it's hard. It's definitely not an easy thing to handle because, like you said, I just don't feel like there's uh, any way to resolve it because we're just kind of told forget about it and let it go type of a situation all the time.
Is your daughter in therapy because of the bullying? Is that kind of what she mostly needs help with? Uh,
No, it definitely is a huge part of our therapy. Um, but she was in therapy to begin with, her past trauma stuff.
Okay.
But that was the beginning of therapy, and now it has become, now it's become because of the bullying, um, and the stuff that's continued with that.
What advice do you have?
Also,
No, go ahead, please.
at their school, they have a lot of little outbreak groups with the social workers there. Um, and they've tried to create just social groups between my daughter and this bully and these other girls that there's issues with in class, and that group particularly did not help. It made things almost worse, I feel like.
Well, what kind of
Um,
idiot would take your
Trying to create a
what
first
kind of idiot
friendship.
would take your daughter and
Yeah,
and force, like, here are the people that are torturing her. We're going to stick her with them so that she can be alone with them. Like,
right.
that's
Yeah. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just
Yeah, when I found out that was happening, yeah, I feel ya. I feel the same way. When I found that one was happening, I said, "No." I said, "That's not healthy." Like you said, you're not gonna put her in a room. Yes, there is a social worker or a teacher there and it's a small group of girls, but you're not gonna put her in a room to be, shoved in the corner and tortured for 15 minute of a little friendship group time. We want her to have positive friendships. Obviously this bully is not going away. And this bully most likely will go through junior high and high school, and when she's an adult with her own children, hopefully someday that she's going, "Oh yes, I remember how it feels because this girl did it to me too back when I was in 4th grade." So, like I said, I stopped that group and I said, "No way." She is in very good, positive, structured groups with some other people who have become really good friends with her. And those ones, I obviously support and love those.
have you considered talking to somebody higher up at the school district?
I have considered it. I just I don't even actually know where to start. I've thought about it, um, but
Are you afraid of
where to start is the
retaliation?
struggle. Um, some of it, like if I went to say the higher up, would it come back down on the teacher? And then the teacher who already seems to sometimes have an issue with my daughter or wanting to give that um make her feel welcome in the classroom is it going to she going to retaliate on my daughter more? Is she going to retaliate to me, or different stuff like that? So that's kind of a fear, is if I keep pushing the issue, what's going to happen to my daughter? Is it going to get worse?
It sounds like the school systems need, if they're trying to prevent bullying, they need to put somebody like in charge, like have a small committee. Because obviously, Colleen, you're not the only one experiencing this. I hear it from a lot of my parents in this school, and maybe you hear it from them too. But it seems to be a common theme where it's not their problem, or they didn't mean it, or your kid did this, your kid said this first, which started the whole thing, which is a straight lie. Because I know some of these kids, and they won't say stuff like this. Maybe I'm being biased a little bit, but
Yeah.
no, I know these kids. You know, and it seems like the schools are really good at deflecting their responsibility away, and It's like
Yes.
we said earlier, it's not helping these kids build trust with authority, which will cause a problem later on in life.
Yep. You're right.
What advice do you have for other parents in dealing with this situation? Do you have any advice? Do you have any advice for other parents in a similar situation to you?
Hmm. I would say first, if you are a parent of a special needs child, wherever they are on the spectrum or not, um, find support within like-minded parents. Find support in your school or your community, wherever that may be, with other parents of other special needs children. That's huge. That is, as a parent, other parents in my community when I'm struggling and I'm going, oh, I'm just having a tough day with my daughter, or this happened with her, and I don't know how to respond to it from the school. And um, those people are definitely wonderful, and a lot of help. Um, and then also like never think that you're the annoying parent. Never stop arguing with the school. That if it feels like it's just a never ending thing and you're never going to win, never stop. You are your child's first defense. Um, so defend them at all costs. Um, no matter no matter what. I just make sure that they know that you've got their back. That's super important. Um, Also other programs that they could get involved in, such as Skato Karate, and other programs like that, that they can also find friendship and support and feel loved in those areas as well. Um, so like I said, find somewhere for yourself, for them, and just never stop fighting for them.
My heart breaks for you. I'm angry for you. It's the school should be doing so much more for your family, and can only hope that through finding other parents going through this, through reaching out as a collective, through programs like this podcast, through other anti-bullying programs, that a difference can be made. But thank you for coming on to talk with us, to share your story with us. Um, we're here to help as much as we can, however we can.
I mean, other parents in the greater Mankato area, if you feel that you need support, or you feel you just need another parent to just love you through this whole situation that you're struggling with your own child, I'd love for you to reach out to me. I'd love to connect with you. I'd love to have that community and partnership with you and to help support you. And maybe together, um, we can also just make small differences in our community, maybe even large differences in our community to stop this. Our kids don't deserve it. Your kid does not deserve it. So, yeah, reach out to the program, and I'd be happy to partner with you.
Anybody who wants to reach out to Colleen, you send us an email at karatechopbullying@gmail.com, and we will put you in contact with her. Find strength in numbers. She's there for you. We're here for you, and we will connect you. Again, thank you for coming on.